Hey everyone, Brad Bradford here on Weston Road, and I'm sitting down with Kay Edgecombe to talk about her journey from the Bahamas to Toronto as a mother, as an entrepreneur, and the founder of the Old Nassau Restaurant, where you could get some of the best Bahamian food in Toronto. It's cold out, but it's hot in there. Let's check it out.
Toronto is a city of 630 square kilometers, with 158 neighborhoods and more than 3 million people, each with their own story to tell. This is For the Love of T.O. with Brad Bradford.
Hi everyone, I am here with Kay Edgecombe, the owner of Old Nassau Restaurant on Weston Road, Toronto's only Bahamian restaurant. We're going to have a chat about food and culture, life in Toronto, being an entrepreneur, and repping your own country. So thanks so much for joining us here on For the Love of T.O.
Thank you for having me on For the Love of T.O.
Yeah, it's great. So you moved here all the way from Nassau, Bahamas in 2013.
Yes.
So what are we at now? That's, I guess,
14.
13, 14 years. And had you been to Canada or Toronto before?
No, well, I came to Canada before, but that was like in Vancouver. So
Different vibe.
the love didn't hit me yet.
Yeah.
When I came to Toronto, I was like, this is where I need to be. Like, I automatically fell in love with the city.
And just out of curiosity, if you can remember, it's we're here in February. It's pretty cold, a lot of snow on the ground. When you first came to Toronto, was it summertime?
It was summer, so it was
Okay.
vibing. It was like, this is where I needed to be.
So this was an easier transition if you
easy.
land here in July versus January. Okay. And you said that there was a good vibe here. The city felt, I don't know, maybe electric. What did you like? First impressions of Toronto back in 2013?
My first impression was like, this is a melting pot of people.
Mhm.
And I loved how everyone just seemed to get along. So I had traveled a lot prior to coming to Toronto. I had lived in other cities, other countries and stuff prior to coming here. But the fact that you're in Toronto and you can still keep your culture, like you don't, like you're Canadian, you're proud, but you don't become, you stick to your culture.
Mm-hmm.
You don't change your accent. Like everybody's eating everybody's food. Everyone's supporting everybody's culture. Like it just felt like a melting pot, and that's what I loved about it.
And so at a certain point, did you notice that Bahamian representation or restaurants with businesses, you weren't seeing a lot of that when you arrived in 2013, or was that
Yeah.
further down the road?
No, I within like the first year, I kind of got homesick and I wanted food from home, and there was none. There was nothing. So yeah, within the first year, I noticed that we didn't have like a representation of food, especially. And like I'm a foodie, like I say, like I eat everybody's food. I go to every culture's restaurant, and there was nothing for my own. So that is why I felt like, okay, we need to do something about this.
We're going to get into the food in a second. And for those who are watching online, we've got a great spread here of stuff that's come right out of the kitchen. We'll talk about that. Had you been in the restaurant business, the food? Yep, we both love food, but
Yeah.
had you been in that space before? And what was it like saying, okay, there is a need for the Bahamian food here in Toronto. There's a gap. Maybe I could go and do that. What was that journey like?
So like I feel like I'm an entrepreneur by heart. Like I'm a hustler. Like I would look at like almost any situation and try to figure out like a solution. Like just being an entrepreneur. Like I want to bridge gaps and fix things, bring services to people that they don't have or that's needed. So that is the first thing that really got the wheels turning, like my entrepreneurial spirit. And then I do kind of have a background, not in actual restaurant, but my family back in the Bahamas, we used to do pop-ups for events during the summer, like summer festivals. We used to have this thing on the beach called like regattas, where people would be sailing their boats on the sea. And then the people that are on the beach are partying and eating and drinking. So we used to have like a little stall there. We would sell food. So that's kind of where the food business came from. But I was always a good cook. Like my grandma taught me well.
Oh, I love that. So you're taking those teachings, bringing them here to Toronto and sharing with all of us. Is there, from a culture perspective, that vibe of people partying on the beach, people coming together around, food and dancing and culture? Is that something that, through your work in the community, through your business here, Old Nassau on Weston, is that something that you're trying to create? Because I look around, we've got maps on the wall, we've got flags here on the food, we've got 242,
Yes.
which is the
The
Bahamas area code up on the wall. Are you trying to build some of that here?
Definitely. So our goal is to make people feel like they're in the Bahamas when they come here, especially during the cold months. When you step inside, I want you to feel warm and cozy. I want you to look at the beaches on the wall and just imagine that you're there. And the whole culture of us getting together, like we often do that here at the restaurant. We would have happy hours. We would do like domino tournaments. Just kind of like to recreate those vibes that we would have back home in the Bahamas.
I love it. So let's talk a little bit about the food. How would you describe the kind of food that you're serving here at Old Nassau? And if somebody hasn't had the Bahamian food before, what does that look like? What does it taste like? What kind of spices are we using? Like walk me through it.
So, Bahamian food, we have more of a clean palate. We don't use a lot of spices, and because if you know where the Bahamas is geographically located, we're like in the middle of the ocean. We are built on limestone, which is like a period of built up stone. We're not even supposed to exist.
Right.
But we don't have a lot of farmlands, so there's not going to be a lot of livestock. There's not a lot of vegetation. There is a little bit, but there's not a lot. So the people of the Bahamas typically survived off of seafood, food from the ocean. And with seafood, and they didn't have a bunch of spice trees like pimento, and they didn't have all of those stuff. So salt water, which is like the salt, because they have like salt farms in the Bahamas. So we have salt, we have lime, and we have pepper. And those are like the holy grail of Bahamian food. But it's so simple, but it's fresh and it's so good. So you're not going to be expecting a lot of spices from our food, but clean palate, and just it's good. It's simple and good.
That is very appealing to me. Salt, pepper, and lime. That's good on my palate. Let's talk a little bit about the menu since we're in that space. You've got lots of traditional Bahamian stuff. You've got the fresh conch fritters. You've got the guava duff. How did you put all of that together when you were thinking about your grandma's recipes and what you had learned back home in the Bahamas? Were there any challenges building a menu like that here in Toronto, or pretty straightforward because you were able to get the ingredients and the stuff that you needed?
Well, it was a bit difficult at first, but I think I've kind of gotten it figured out. Because we want the fresh seafood from the Bahamas, especially the conch. That's our number one seller. Like anything conch at the restaurant, we sell lots of conch. And the first challenge was getting it in. The second challenge was how do we replicate these exact flavors. But I feel like we've gotten it down. It was a challenge, but like I'm a chef, so I made it work.
As an entrepreneur and a business owner, was part of that building relationships with the importers that could get it here to Toronto, get it done timely, so it could go from the sea to your plate?
Yeah, so if you know, the Bahamas and Canada have like really strong relations in terms of flights. Like you have like 3-4 flights coming out daily, and most of those flights offer cargo, so we're able to get shipment. Even if we wanted daily, we could, right? But we get our shipment in. We have relationships with suppliers in the Bahamas, and they keep us topped up. And we also have great suppliers here in Toronto that supply seafood from the Bahamas. So we've gotten that part on lock.
So in front of me, we've got a couple, I guess, traditional dishes that you make here. None of the conchs, but up front there is something here with the flag of the Bahamas on it. What am I looking at?
So, Mr. Brad, we typically do conch fritters here.
Yes.
But we're dealing with like an international market now. We have people that may have shellfish allergies. You have people that they want to try Bahamian food, but I'm not ready to eat conch yet. So I made for you the corn fritters, which is like same flavors, but instead of forcing you to eat conch or like, somebody that's not ready to try conch or can't, we gave them corn fritters. Same vibe.
Okay. And can I grab
Go ahead.
this and
Yeah, and this is the sauce. This is our calypso sauce that it goes with.
okay, so you're just gonna dip it right in here.
Yeah,
You have one with you? I
sure.
guess you know. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's really, really good.
It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know this was this good. I eat conch fritters.
No, great,
But
great
they're good.
flavor, crispy on the outside and softer and nice texture to it inside. That's okay.
Yeah,
That's delicious.
those are
So
good.
people would do an order of these, and we've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them here.
Yeah.
Is it all right? Like someone comes, gets this, just plows through it. Is this a caloric bomb? Do I have to worry about the calories on these things? Maybe. But you know what?
It's fried.
You can't enjoy life if you're
Yeah,
too
you
much worried about the
don't
calories.
worry about the calories. Just eat it. Just enjoy.
I love
They're good, and it's an appetizer.
Mm.
I still want you to eat more. I don't want you to just come here and just order some fritters. But if that's all you feel like eating, by all means. But I want you to start with this.
And no, that's terrific. I've never done the podcast where I am eating while I'm doing the podcast.
Oh,
but,
really?
Yeah, but I'm really glad we are. And at the back here, this looks like an interesting creation. What do we have
This
here?
is our macaroni. It's baked. Some Caribbean cultures call it macaroni pie. We just say macaroni in the Bahamas because, mac and cheese, the traditional softer pasta one, we bake ours. And it's a little bit more firm.
Yeah, this
still
is
creamy, still nice, but
it's
this is
almost
our-
like in a sense, for people who are listening, put together almost like a lasagna. You're not having meat sauce or anything.
Yeah.
There's no tomato on here, but let me give this a shot. Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
So let me tell you, I've got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old at home. So craft dinner versions, that is heavy in the rotation. But this is certainly quite a few steps of the
Yeah.
upgrade. This is delicious.
It is.
I think my daughters would love something.
Yeah, it's simple. It's not spicy. It's nice. It's flavorful.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I'd have to.
That's one of our top sellers too. Like people come looking for.
I'm gonna have to pause on eating because then this would just turn into
Yeah.
a meal.
I know.
We got to finish the conversation. But when I think about my daughters, you are a mother, you are a parent
Yeah.
as well. How old's your daughter?
She's 6.
Okay, so you're one year ahead of me.
Yeah.
With respect to building a business here in Toronto and Old Nassau Restaurant, is that an opportunity to teach your daughter about Bahamian culture and life back home? Can she do some of that learning through the work you're doing now?
Yeah, I think she has it down pat. The only thing she doesn't have is the accent, but she's well versed in our food. She talks about Junkanoo. Like she goes to the Bahamas quite often. She's had many experiences in the Bahamas, like summers, Christmas, but coming here to the restaurant or being a part of the restaurant, she's seeing Bahamian, she's seeing like Bahamian culture like daily. So yeah, I've told her like you're Bahamian, and she's like, no, I'm Canadian, but you're Bahamian too.
You be both.
Yeah.
I love that. I can't stop eating these fritters. So as an immigrant, as a Black woman, what has it meant to you to be able to create a space where Bahamian culture is celebrated, it is taught in the case of, generationally to your daughter. And also, like, to me, this is, full disclosure, my first time having Bahamian food and coming into the shop. So I'm learning about it too. What does it mean to be able to do that?
All my life, like since I was a kid, I grew up with my grandparents on an island, which is like one of the outer islands in the Bahamas, Andros. And that island is kind of like a very rural area. If you look on the map, it's like the largest one.
I was gonna say it looks pretty big.
Yeah, it's big, but like it's very underdeveloped. So I didn't grow up with like internet. We didn't have like fast food. But I always just like look up at the stars because all we had is a bunch of stars at night. And I would tell my granddad, like, I want to be an ambassador. Like that was my goal. Like I really wanted to be an ambassador of the Bahamas. I even started the journey. I did my international business thing, and I learned foreign languages and all this stuff because that was really my path. I really wanted to be an ambassador of the Bahamas. And so when this restaurant started to unfold, and like I was actually putting up the sign, and like if you drive from that way, you would see the flag on the building, and I was actually putting up the flag, it like actually hit me like I am an ambassador of the Bahamas. So that honestly made me very proud to know that me coming from where I came from, like this little girl running around bare feet on the island on the rocks, no shoes on, um, came this far, came to Canada all the way up north and able to like raise my country's flag and say, hey, we're here.
That's very amazing. I love that. You are literally flying the flag here. You're building something, and that little piece of you as a girl on Andros and coming all the way here, you're sharing that journey with the 3 million people who have chosen to call Toronto home, just like you have, just like I have. I love that. It's beautiful. It's not easy to do what you've done as a newcomer, but anybody trying to start a business, I think, in Toronto, sometimes there are difficulties from permitting to licensing to supply chains to customers to marketing to staffing up and having people here with you with the same mission. What's been the most challenging part, whether that's working with the city or navigating the small business landscape? What's been hard about it?
Honestly, the hardest part is when you go online and you're trying to Google stuff, you're gonna be so discouraged. Like when we're starting a business, we're trying to Google everything, trying to see what information we can find online. We're on Reddit, we're on whatever website. That is very discouraging. So where I found, I guess, more clarity was making those calls, booking those meetings, and going and finding out for myself. When we look at starting business, we hear or we think red tape all the time, but sometimes a lot of those red tapes don't even exist. So anybody that's looking to get into business, I would always suggest you go and find out yourself. Go and sit down and ask the questions that you need answers to yourself. So overall, I would say it was difficult, but I don't know. I feel like it's doable.
Something that we always talk about at City Hall, and I think all levels of government, is supporting mom and pops, supporting the small business, entrepreneurs, people who are trying to build something. I had done some work to create a new small business tax class. It was really just about making sure we weren't taxing commercial property here in Weston at the same rate as downtown office towers. We were able to do that. If you have a lease, it probably gets passed through on that. But politicians and elected officials do a lot of talking. Do you see leaders in the country or different levels of government that have effectively been able to support small business? Or do you actually feel like, not really, I do it on my own, to your point, like, I make the phone calls, I get out there, I find the answers I need, and I respond? Which way is it?
I feel like you call, but you have your BAIs in your communities, like take advantage. They have a lot of information. I feel like the city and our councils and our MPs and stuff have done a lot to help small businesses. So I remember when I first opened, I got a lot of support from the community in terms of them promoting the business, like my Weston Road BAI, like letting everybody know, hey, there's a new restaurant. That was a boosted business. So I feel like at governing levels, they do help to support small businesses.
You've been here in Toronto since 2013. Have you been in Weston the whole time?
Yeah, when I first came to Toronto, I lived right back there.
Love it. So I've spent some time in Weston, and increasingly so. It's a pretty historic part of Toronto, and you can go a bit further north, and there are these like big Weston sort of properties that were built, 150 years ago. And then you also have a lot of density and
Yes.
a lot of mixed income.
Yes.
And Weston is changing. You've got the air rail link station, new development going up around here. How has Weston changed since you got here in 2013 to where it is today in 26? And what do you like and what do we need to fight for?
There's like a lot of new buildings and stuff have gone up, and you would hear people talking that they're trying to push out certain people, like gentrification is happening and stuff. But I feel like Weston Road kind of needed a little upgrade. Like we needed better housing on Weston Road. Some of the businesses that are here have been here for like years. Like even when I bought this building, this business, this was a fish and chips place. And the owner, he was here for like 26 years, like just on Weston Road doing fish and chips for 26 years. He retired. So a lot of the businesses here have been here for a long time. The owners are retiring and new business owners like myself are coming in. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Like it's evolution. We're changing, but I feel like it's for the better.
You are the type of Torontonian I love the most, where it's someone who wants to make a bet, somebody who wants to take a risk to try and build something.
Yeah.
And for you, there's this element of being an ambassador for the Bahamas. You are a mother raising a child in the city, but you're all in on Toronto and you're all in on Weston.
Yes, I'm
So I agree with you. Like growth has to be a part of that conversation. And I think we should be a city with the ambition to grow.
exactly.
And we should be supporting that. And ultimately, when more people are coming to the neighborhood, like that's a positive thing for businesses, for entrepreneurs.
Yes,
Have you seen, you're now 4 years into this, have you seen an uptick of people as more folks are moving to the neighborhood? Does that translate into more people discovering the business?
Yes, because we have younger generation, like people that are foodies, especially people that love to find food on TikTok or Instagram or whatever.
Well, yeah. And so you had a pretty sort of famous TikToker,
Yeah.
Keith Lee, who travels to different cities
Yeah.
and reviews the best restaurants. And he came here.
Yes, he did. So I posted a video of me. I just heard that he was in Toronto, and I posted a video of me and my daughter telling him like, we're on Weston Road. This is like great community, a small little village. And he saw the video and he came. So that was a huge boost to our business. It gained us a lot of notoriety. We were interviewed by the Toronto Star, like a lot of other news channels, CP24, like a lot of people reached out to us. So like I said, it helped us to gain notoriety with different communities that we probably wouldn't be able to reach just from our social media or just from regular advertising or word of mouth, because how are we going to reach those people? So we were very, very, very grateful for that.
It's a good reminder as Torontonians and people who want main streets like Weston to not just survive, but thrive. When you're out there taking a risk and trying to do something, we all have to get behind you.
Exactly.
We have to back that. We have to be loud and proud. And I want Toronto to be a city that we can all be proud of.
Yes, for
And
sure.
you're part of that story.
Exactly.
So I want to thank you for joining me on For the Love of TO. I want to thank you for this spectacular spread of food here, which I am now going to spend more time finishing.
For sure.
It's just in closing on a fun note, it's pretty cold outside. So I love the irony of being here and talking about Bahamas. Where's your favorite place back in the Bahamas when you get the opportunity to go home? What do you like to do?
So my favorite island in the Bahamas is Exuma.
Okay.
Exuma is beautiful. Exuma is like one of the only bodies of water that you can see from space. Like the beaches in Exuma is so serene. Like it has pink sand, and I mean it's just beautiful. So that's one of my favorite places to go when I go back to the Bahamas.
I love it. Well, I'm sure I'll check out some travel accounts or something.
do.
Look at those Exuma beaches and just reflect on how nice it would be there rather than -20 in Toronto.
I know.
Again, many thanks to Kay Edgecombe for joining me on For the Love of TO and hosting us here on Weston Road. And for folks that want to stay updated with Old Nassau, give them a follow on Instagram at oldnassau.food and come try the conchs and all the amazing food for yourself. All right?
Yes.
Thanks
you
for
for
listening.
having
See you next
us.
time.
Bye.
This is For the Love of TO.